Hello gamers and future friends. In 2022, I saw a trailer for a game I really wanted to play called Stacklands. Now, my memory fails me to why I never got around to play it, and it was not until recently I was reminded of it by a clone coming out. So instead of picking up Stacklands, I decided to hold off and give the clone a go. The clone had all the same gameplay and concept of Stacklands, so without further ado, here is my review of WitchHand. Now, Stacklands was a popular game, with having over 10,000 reviews on Steam. For those who may have missed it, I think it could be best described as sort of a city builder without the images, but instead you are given cards. For example, in most games, when you need to grow food for a population, you can physically see the food farmed and grown. Now, instead, take out all of that and just put a simple card that says berry on it, and that's the whole process of food. And this expands for everything. Everything is a card. Everything you can think of. The characters, the city, the medicine, the currency, markets, resources. Everything is simply just a card. Now, do not be confused by the switching gameplay. I was showing Stacklands for reference, and now I'm switching over to WitchHand. Now, to use these cards is simply just placing one on top of the other. For example, you're given a ruins card to explore, simply place a character on it and they will begin to explore gathering resources. The expansion on these cards branches out too much to include all in one video, but to name a few, there are herbalist cards, alchemists, spell cards, livestock, resources to use for various spell cards such as healing cards, population growth cards, I mean, you name it. WitchHand and Stacklands has such an interesting concept that I do recommend them both for this incredibly unique experience, but I'm going to talk about what I believe would have made these games better from my personal standpoint, as well as what to expect when playing them. My first pet peeve that I have with games is exactly how linear they are. I do not like knowing that everyone is playing the game the exact same way. What I mean by this is when you first boot up WitchHand, you begin the game, you are given rank 1 explore cards that only have a handful of resources and items to unlock. So you continue playing until eventually you upgrade and can now unlock rank 2 explore cards, expanding items and improvements. I hate this in video games. Everyone is playing the exact same way, and no playthrough seems significant to the player. Everyone is on the same path from start to finish. However, you look at games like Minecraft, Terraria, Northgard, where the world is generated and you need to adapt to your randomly generated surroundings to allow for a unique experience. This allows one to get more involved in a run. Also, side note, I have not gotten around to playing Dwarf Fortress yet, but from what I hear, that is the best game in terms of random occurrences happening, and I am so excited for my first run through soon. I don't know why the developer chose to give the player roughly 300 possible cards, but only let you get 10 now and 10 more in an hour, and then 10 more in an hour after that, and so on. I really wish all items and possibilities were open to me from the get-go. I love the feeling of seeing something new and saying to myself, what the fuck is that? How do I use it? And damn, that was awesome after I find out how it was used. But with WitchHand, I found myself 3 hours in, and I mean, just look at this board right here. I had all these cards, these resources, and I'm just screaming at the game, just give me something else. Like, you know, just give me some more resources. Expand. Let me know what this game has to offer. Second, and I think a lot of people will disagree with me on this one, with anything to do with cards in general, I am a sucker for simplicity, which is why I wish I got Stacklands instead. Just comparing the two, the card names, the item descriptions, the drawings, everything is just provided in a simpler way in Stacklands. The more in-depth you make a card game or board game, the harder it is to follow and learn the rules. This can easily be proven. Walk up to someone who doesn't know how to play Goldfish or Monopoly and see which they learn how to play first. And after you get halfway through explaining Monopoly and they say, screw it, let's just play something else, that's about where I was headed halfway through WitchHand. WitchHand had a lot to offer, but either I did not have the patience to learn it as you're on a day-to-day cycle with enemies creeping in, and yes, I know, you can pause the game whenever you want to learn it. However, sometimes the game didn't provide information on how to do it. For example, I received a task to have this character cast a spell. So, okay, I created the character and did everything I could think of to get it to cast a spell. I searched for options or instructions, I put it on an enemy, created spells, I put spells on the character, but nothing worked. And there isn't a database or a set of rules or instructions other than what's provided on the bottom of the cards, which even then are too general and basic for the depth this game goes in. So I never figured it out and failed the task, which doesn't really have any downside other than frustration. And keep in mind, this is, again, just because I'm a minimalist. I prefer simplicity over depth any day of the week. It's even the reason I have an iPhone rather than an Android. And lastly, with a game like this, it really needs to warn a player before it just fucks them over. One game I was a big fan of was Northgard. In Northgard, there are a few occurrences that can happen. Rats can infect your food supply, or a blizzard can appear, so you'll need to stock on food. An earthquake could destroy your structures, so you'll need to stock up on wood. Enemy portals can spawn, and you'll need to build a larger army. Stuff like that. But what they do is tell the player, hey, you have about 20 minutes in real time to adapt to the situation ahead and survive. Go. However, in WitchHand, on my first run, I was having fun. I was gathering some resources, learning what everything was, expanding my village. I had a merchant give me some goods, all hunky-dory, and then bam! Like 6 enemies spawned out of fucking nowhere and killed me, and the game ends. And I was like, what the fuck? So I actually stopped playing thinking, why continue to play when at any moment the developer could fuck me over without warning, rendering all my progress useless just because of an event I didn't see coming. Okay, I know what you're all thinking, but Blargle, didn't you just say you love random occurrences? Yes, but these aren't really random. Every player is provided the same occurrence at the same day increments, making it, again, linear. Also, it is more fun to prepare for an event when all resources are at hand. So to recap, the game only releases bits to you over time. Many things will need to be learned by a roll of the dice, or you just got lucky to discover it, as some of the description cards are a little bit vague, and you could lose a run to unexpected occurrences. But if you're fine with all that, please give it a go. I really think you'll enjoy it. In the end, these were the 3 things I wish were done a little bit better, but again, the concept of all this being able to be played with just playing cards was a unique concept I think everyone should experience. If you are someone like me who values simplicity, I think I'd give Stacklands a go, but if you are someone who loves an in-depth game and has the patience to take the time and learn the rules and strategies from the bottom up, pick up WitchHand. And that does it here, gamers and future friends. I hope you all have a wonderful day.